1 point in 2 weekend games. The, as Cassidy put it, the lack of respect game. The other, the tail end of a back-to-back, as fatigue perhaps set in. Our recaps come your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, longtime sportscaster, marketing and event consultant, along with Chris Golick. And Chris with the collectibles for the Hockey News, the editor of collectibles for the Hockey News, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports. Thanks for following us, and thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. And make sure that you subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And coming up ahead on today's show, recaps of the 2 weekend losses and Aiden Hill's new contract. We are brought to you today by Monarch. Go to Monarch, use the promo code for 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Let's first, Chris, discuss yesterday's loss in Detroit, a 3-0 shutout. The Golden Knights just ran out of gas, perhaps, due to the matinee back-to-backs. Remember, this is a nighttime team, so there has to be played these early games.
Daytime minus? Are they daytime minus?
Exactly. I have to ask, for the last 3 minutes, I want to start here. The last 3 minutes of that game, plus 3 goals down, VGK successful on 6-on-5, and Bruce Cassidy doesn't pull Samsonov. To me, that was odd. He just conceded, and that was surprising to me.
Sure. I mean, this game was crap to begin with, but yeah, I mean, what do you have to lose in that circumstance? I don't know. What got me in this game was the press conference. Gary Lawless got another one-word answer. Good job, Gary. Keep the hits coming. But what got me, and no one's talking about this, I don't understand. Coach Cassidy alluded to this game as almost one of those scheduled losses. Scheduled losses. That's a comment that honestly bothered me a lot. It's a razor thin. The margins between winning and losing are so razor thin in this league. It's ridiculous. If you need any proof of that, just go back and watch the Buffalo game and see what happened there. And now when the coach is making a comment like this is on his mind to begin with. It's on his mind that this is a tough game, and we might not have it today. We might just lose this game before the game starts. And now the coach has given up his edge on the game, the killer instinct, the Stanley Cup mentality, all these important things that matter. And this division between LA, I don't know about Edmonton at this point, but between LA and Vegas is going to come down to somewhere between 1 and 3 points. And you looked at the way this road trip played out. You look at this Detroit game and a scheduled loss. Like, just how soft is Cassidy right now? How many times I've said this throughout the season, and I feel like this is the softest version of Coach Cassidy we've seen.
Maybe Cassidy is running out of steam too.
And that's fair.
And
that's fair. Yeah,
no
4 Nations fatigue. There you go. Give Cassidy a break.
I think he needs a break. I think Eichel and Stone, just send them to Cabo. They should have just taken them to the airport in Las Vegas, meet their families, and send them off to Cabo to the beach for 2 days, because they really 2.5 days, because they really do need that break. You can see it. On the Albert Johansson goal, it was saved at the blue line, kept in the zone for Detroit. Brett Howden raising his arm thinking that the puck went offside, and then the rest of the team was frozen at the blue line. It was, again, another bizarre situation here where the team just quit playing. I can't make up any. I mean, there's a ton of excuses out there, but I can't make up any for a lack of effort, not pulling the goalie. Again, 3 goals in the NHL anymore, it evaporates really quick, right? And at the end of the game here, even 4 or 5 minutes to go, I mean, try to do something, try to pull out a win. He must have known, Cassidy, that the team was so spent that they couldn't put forth the effort.
McNabb gets caught in a strange spot in this goal. Of course, Brett Howden gave up on the play. I mean, I get he's trying to sell the call in the situation. Not necessarily a good idea. And looking at the visualizer, Keegan Kolsar is literally at the red line when this whole thing happens. He's just going for a walk in the park, and it's bad. Like, all these breakdowns were just brutal. I don't know if Korzak and McNabb were just confused. Like, Korzak is just staying right in front of Samsonov, and then Korzak is playing the 2-on-1 at that point. And this team is just so flustered right now, and it's tough to watch because a week and a half ago things were going well, and you're talking about a team with Stanley Cup aspirations, and this road trip happens. And sure, if you're going to look at one stat, they got 4 points out of 8 on the road trip. Okay, fine. You get 50% of the points on the road, 75% of the points at home. Life is good, right? Okay, fine, whatever. Credit Sinbin. They put a nice perspective on all this right now and talked about the fact that down the stretch in the Stanley Cup year, I think all the back-to-backs, I think there was 3 back-to-backs down the stretch after the All-Star break. They got 3 out of 4 points in each one. Okay, that's pretty good. You look at how the team did despite not having Mark Stone, despite playing with its 3rd, 4th, and 5th goaltender. You look at I think they had 4 regulation losses, if I'm not mistaken, down the stretch right there. That's what a team after the All-Star break, or in this case, after the 4 Nations, does when they want to win a Stanley Cup. And it's not happening now. It's not even close to happening. We'll talk about the Buffalo game, but talk about a game of goalie errors and unforced errors by highly compensated defensemen. There's a lot of concern right now, and this team is very far from the Cup 2023 team. This is very far, even though they're a division leader right now. I know anyone's going to react to this. They're first place in the division right now. They're okay, fine. Yes, they're a good team. But does this version of the Golden Knights, now without William Karlsson, who was supposed to come back on this road trip, does this version of the Golden Knights without William Karlsson and Shea Theodore, who might even sneak back in the regular season, if not early in the playoffs, likely. When you put those two back into the mix, is this a Stanley Cup team? And obviously, the initial reaction after this POS road trip is a heck no.
Come on. Well, they're putting all their chips on Carlson. Come on. I mean, seriously.
I don't think they're putting their chips on Karlsson. I think that's the hand that they dealt themselves.
All they keep trying to feed us, and the narrative is, William Karlsson will be back soon. Come on.
Well, McCrimmon says it. I believe it. McCrimmon said this road trip.
He did say that, yes, but is he the savior? No. There's a lot of other issues with his team, and if there weren't, then Cassidy would not be putting the lineups into the stinking blender the past 2 games. I mean, he has no answers. There's no answers.
Is there a question
Seriously. There? Did you see it? It's up there on my
That's pretty good.
Screen. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, another thing, and I know we're kind of chopping through some of our topics throughout the week, but why in God's name is Tanner Pearson still on the top line? What are we doing?
I have no idea. Again, that is going to be one of our topics because they didn't make any moves at the deadline. We said they needed a top line winger, and they dropped the ball, and even McCrimmon said so. Okay, the Stone turnover.
What did McCrimmon say?
He said that was one of their needs. He said that was a need of theirs that they identified. But everything was solved when we got Saad. Okay, not even at the trade deadline.
To be fair, Saad's playing above expected, but still, that's not enough.
Riley Smith coming back to save this team.
Great for the bottom 6.
The Stone turnover led to a Raymond goal, and in the third period, 9 minutes before the first shot on goal. And who were they asking? It wasn't McNabb. Who was it in the post-game presser where he said, no, it wasn't fatigue? Yeah, it was. Was
that Haig?
I think it was Haig. That's exactly who it was. But, yeah, in any event, it just like – and then, in the second period, let's talk about that. In front of Peter – is that the same Peter Mrazek? Yes. Peter Mrazek? Okay.
Who hasn't had a shutout in 7 years? That Peter Mrazek?
I mean, the last time we saw him prior to yesterday, he was getting bombarded with pucks from VGK. But there was a lack of rebound control, a ton of loose pucks in the second period for the Golden Knights. Even on state run, they said, hey, they're going to break through in the third because look at all those opportunities and chances. And VGK could not put it away. They couldn't put the puck in net.
And then all the state run guys are going to tell you everything's going to be okay too, and all the people in the press conferences and everything, and all the people that run the post game show, everything's going to be okay. And then they're talking about Hertl, no big deal. He's done so much good for this team, whatever. Like, come on, that's not what people need to hear right now. That's not what people want to hear right now. Whether it's what people need to hear or not, I guess that's debatable. But I don't know. Going back before I rant here, because it's coming at some point, I'm sure. But the second goal,
this segment is a good rant segment. Okay.
Yeah, fine, perfect. But you have a face-off controlled by the captain, Mark Stone. 22-year-old Luke Raymond dances around White Cloud. Eichel, Hertl doesn't play the puck. Hanifin just hanging out, watching, having a drink. And of course, Mark Stone is the one that turns it over. I'm not saying that a 22-year-old shouldn't have a good moment in the NHL, but this is something that Cassidy has talked about. Cassidy has multiple times in press conferences referenced a player by their age outworking superstars or star defensemen on this Golden Knights team. And again, Luke Raymond's going to be a fantastic player in the NHL. He already is a solid player. It's his 23rd goal. He's a great player. But this is something that can't happen. And Mark Stone's looked very fatigued. He's had some good moments. I think he had like 6 points this week. So it's a double-edged sword.
Send them to the beach. Shut them down for 3 days.
I don't mind this. No, dude. They get the beach at Lake Mead. They don't get a regular. They haven't deserved a regular beach. They can go to Lake Mead.
But in any event, just shut them down for 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. And then looking at the third goal and trying to remember how this came together, just wide open in
front.
Send
them on a vacation here. There's a lot.
So McNabb is stuck behind that.
Send them to Stadium Swim because no one was there for the watch party yesterday morning. It was too early for VGK fans.
That's good. Korczak seems to be a little bit out of sorts right now on the pairing with McNabb. At least looking at a couple of these goals right here. Which again, another topic. Why no Ben Hutton? What has, and I won't go too far with this, so we can save it for a little bit.
They couldn't trade him. That's
how much. There's zero trust from Cassidy and Ben Hutton right now. That's what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. Zero trust.
Okay.
We'll save that for tomorrow, though.
Okay. Coming up next, the lack of respect game. We'll explain next right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. Looking to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor makes eating well easy and chef prepared. Dietitian approved meals that are fresh and never frozen and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. With 40 options across and dietary preferences every week, you can customize your meals to fit your lifestyle, whether it's calorie smart or protein plus or what have you. And Factor even offers wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, and grab-and-go snacks to keep you fueled all day long. I love how Factor takes the stress out of meal preparation and planning. I recently tried their Protein Plus meals, and they were packed with flavor, and they kept me full throughout the day. The convenience is unbeatable. There's no prep, no mess, just great food in minutes. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50. Again, that is factormeals.com. Use the promo code LockedOnNHL 50 off. It's 50 off at factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL 50 off. Get 50% off plus free shipping on your first order. And again, or another way to get there would be go to the promo code Factor Podcast. Get 50% off your first order. Factormeals.com. Let's try Factor Podcast to receive 50% off of your first order. Welcome back on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Again, find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. Cheers to everyone that celebrates today, St. Patrick's Day. Did you go to the St. Patrick's parade like you usually do on Water Street? No,
Kind
and
of.
Anderson
So
kind of
what we
went.
do is the
You
kids,
kind of went. How do you kind of go? Okay,
is there a question there?
okay, let's try this again.
All right. No, so last couple of years we've gone for, I don't know, we get there a little bit early, hang out, get a spot, watch for 10 or 12 minutes, kids get bored, we go to the carnival. So this year we said, screw it. We'll let everyone watch the parade, and we got the kids the wristbands for the carnival. The parade starts at 10, carnival opens at 10. So instead of even watching a second of the parade, we just let the kids go crazy in the carnival and just walked around there and had some food and an early morning breakfast beer. And it was perfect, actually. The carnival's not, or the parade's nice, but we hung out in the carnival the whole time instead and just kind of walked around a little bit.
Okay,
That's how we kind of go.
That's how you did kind of go.
Yep.
So VGK loses on Saturday. It seems like a long time ago against Buffalo on the road, 4-3 in the shootout.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel scores with 2:33 remaining in the third. VGK thought perhaps they could just secure this win, run out the clock, and then the opportunity arises for an empty net goal. And Tomas Hertl, with one of the biggest gaffes, if you will, in VGK history, he's skating away on a breakaway at an empty net. The one thing Carlson would have done was he would have drilled it, but
you would have done it by the red line, but yeah.
Of course. But Tomas
As he
Hertl,
should, to be fair.
Okay, Hertl decides to try to dish the puck to a trailer in Jack Eichel, but the play broken up. VGK would have led at that juncture 4-2. And then with 14 seconds remaining in overtime, Rasmus Dahlin ties the score at 3 apiece. No scoring in overtime. Then the former VGKer, Alex Tuck, he scores in the shootout. And here's what I've said before about VGK. I have to quote myself. I said, remember the San Jose game? We go back a while. This team tries to be too cute. They try to be too cute, and it is a lack of respect. It's a lack of respect because just finish the stinking play. Wasn't the San Jose game where, was it Eichel tried to do the Michigan and kind of flopped? And again, they were just trying to be Showtime. Who cares? Just win the game, get on the bus, get out of there.
I still go back to when we went to the game in Arizona last year. That was the game where the Golden Knights let up a nice little 6 spot in the third period. That was great. But the Golden Knights had the game comfortably in hand, and something, I don't know who it was, Cotter, Eichel, whoever, it doesn't matter. But someone tried to do something very, typical crap in a 2 or 3 goal game, whatever it was at the time. And Chris is the one, my son, who pointed out, why are they trying to do this stuff? Just finish the game here. And lo and behold, they go and blow that game, and we know how that game played out. The same thing, right? I mean, lack of respect. And it wasn't just the Hertl situation. It was Aiden Hill. I mean, what a terrible, that first goal was absolutely brutal.
That the five hole goal?
It was 5-hole. It was a slow, soft one. And that's just a goal that cannot get in at this level. End of story.
He's going to get fat. He signed an extension. He doesn't need to play
We'll save that for the third. But yeah, I mean, that's a goal that can't go in. I know we're not even nitpicking here. I know we're dumping on him, and I'm sure his dad's going to be pissed. But in the same breath, that's a goal that can't get in at this level.
We wouldn't know if his dad's mad, would we?
I would know if his dad's mad because they'll chirp me on Twitter.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, so that's the thing right there. I mean, that's a puck that can't get in. End of story. And this starts with the $37 million goaltender. And then, yeah, you mentioned the lack of respect. What the heck is Pietrangelo doing? I mean, yeah, he gets chopped a little bit on that clear, but in the same breath, we're talking about a $10 million AAV players, whatever Pietrangelo gets.
The turnover.
That puck has to get, it's $8 million, whatever Pietrangelo makes. It too much right now, but that puck has to clear or at least go into a low event, low danger area. And then that third goal, the shot's coming from the point. Braden McNabb is out there, and Pietrangelo. No one's boxing out Tuck, who does a great job blocking Aiden Hill, so Dahlin can tie the game. And then the shootout is what it is at that point. You mentioned the Hertl situation. Yeah, that game's got to get finished. End of story. Hertl needs to be smarter than that, and I understand. Hertl's done so many good things. He's earned his team so many points
for this team. He always smiles too.
I do not care. It doesn't matter. That's his job, and he did his job well. He did not do his job well on Saturday, and no one's going to wear it worse than Hertl. I can only imagine how he was in the locker room after the game. I'm not dumping on the human.
He
I'm
knew
dumping on the human
immediately.
that made a terrible play.
Yeah, he knew immediately, and he was trying
Absolutely.
to
And Michael
put
was
an
pissed too. You saw
exclamation
the way he
point.
reacted.
Well, trying to put an exclamation point on the win there, because every time Michael touched the puck, he was booed again there repeatedly in Buffalo.
And people, and even State and Run saying, telling Buffalo to get over it. People boo their former players. They boo the villain. Who cares if they boo the villain? It's fun. Mark Stone's gonna get booed everywhere in the playoffs. Who cares? It's fun. Let him keep booing.
Maybe by his own fans, after turning the puck over this weekend. Okay, I'm just kidding. So I do want to talk about the lawless thing. I only bring this up because there's a beef potentially. Well, there's a couple of beefs. You and Aiden Hill's dad, and then maybe perhaps and then perhaps we've got Cassidy versus State Run. So Gary, again, Cassidy was in no mood to run.
Well, Gary's talking to him like he's on the bench with him, like he's a coach.
Right.
Like, shut up, Gary. Instead of shut up, Tony, shut up, Gary.
He was absolute. We haven't done that in a minute. That was always good.
Shut up, Gary.
I guess I don't need to be quiet anymore on this show. But in any event, like, he's just trying to pile on Hertl. And Captain Obvious says, Hertl has a chance to score the empty net, blah, blah, blah. And again, he's like, oh, yeah, you could have gotten 2 points there. And then, of course, Cassidy was about to just explode like he did on Marcia so in the past. And he said, is there a question there? Because he just made a statement. And then to follow that up is rest more valuable than practice right now? Yes. Exit stage right for Cassidy. Oh, you can't tell me he's still not pissed at him. He's absolutely mad.
Gary Lawless, I think he was doing the fans a favor on Saturday, the Buffalo game, because he assumed everyone was watching on nighttime minus, and it was buffering, and he assumed no one saw what happened. So Lawless had to paint the picture there. So that's what happened. But I mean, I've seen firsthand, Coach Cassidy getting upset in some of these pressers. I've experienced it firsthand. In some of these pressures, to the point where Coach Cassidy apologized to me one time, as crazy as that sounds. It was a miscommunication and a question, whatever, who cares? But Lawless is just talking to him like he's on the bench, like he's a member of the coaching staff, like they're having a beer, in the hotel bar after the game. Like at that point, put your media hat on and be a media person. You can be a state-run media person, but
Cassidy.
It's a dumb question and it's a dumb observation.
Right. It wasn't a question there. Again, it was a statement. There should have been 2 points.
The media asks questions. Isn't that how a press conference goes at the end? I haven't been there in a while, but I'm pretty sure you ask questions.
But he already addressed it. And it's like, move on to the next question.
Yeah, no, Lawless was driving the bus and hoping. Yeah,
he's trying to pile on
Cassidy
Hertl.
Was out there directing him to run over Hertl again. Like, no, it's over. You already killed the horse. You already killed the horse.
That Hertl costed VGK a point. Costed. What is going on?
Costed or cost? I wrestled that. I was going to ask you.
COST cost. COST.
It's cost.
Yeah, it just cost. And but I don't know. But you could still sense that Cassidy's not okay with him, and nor does Cassidy.
People aren't okay with Gary Lawless.
Well, but he got under coach's skin, and I didn't think that it was fair to again Captain Obvious question about not even a question, a statement. He makes a statement like he's running the presser. That's the part that got to me. And then yesterday, the follow-up was fantastic. Is rest more valuable than practice right now?
I mean, it's actually a fair question. I mean, it's at least it's a fair question, and it would have been nice to hear what Cassidy would have to say about that. I'll give Lawless that one.
Okay, that's a question. That's not a statement like you're running the presser. Okay, we got enough of that out of that game, and again, they're going to have to wash that game away because now the three-game homestand coming up here, and you talked about the LA Kings, but don't look now. Edmonton just 4 points behind VGK, and the Kings, again, stacking wins at home. I think they're in action again on Monday night. The Kings are closing very, very quickly. So VGK better get in order. They're a third place finisher in the Pacific Division. Coming up next, coming up next, Aiden Hill gets a raise and a 6-year extension. We'll get to that as we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I really do enjoy the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk or on a road trip or just need a quick protein boost. They are always my go-to, and you could find Wonderful Pistachios everywhere. I see them in the supermarket just about every time I go there. And then, of course, I pick up a bag, of course. And then you could also find them in convenience stores around the valley here in Las Vegas. And if you love cracking open every shell for the satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. The fact that Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, it provides all 9 essential amino acids, no shells, Wonderful Pistachios for the grab and go case. And with ease, you can try those. And then, of course, whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do, really. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. Again, get cracking. Make sure that you go to wonderfulpistachios.com. We are also brought to you today by Monarch Money, one of our new terrific sponsors. And have you ever checked your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? That's a daily occurrence in Vegas, to be quite honest. Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start to build all your wealth. When I started to use Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and I save a lot more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check out your finances. You can track your spending and even plan long-term goals. And managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. And you could track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris O'Golick from Las Vegas. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Hope that you enjoy the day, and please don't drink and drive. Definitely at the forefront. After you said, Chris, that negotiations were going on for some time, for a while, VGK finally announces Friday morning, 7 a.m. Talk about peculiar, because they know that we record the show at 6.
About 6:45.
Okay. They know that we record this show at 6 a.m. That is a fact. That was all about trying to zing you and I, because they know at 6 o'clock, that's when we record each and every day. So VGK, again, announcing an extension, very odd time, an extension for Aiden Hill. And I want to get your thoughts. So it's 6 years and an AAV of $6.25 million. And I know that one of the fans had zinged you on Twitter because I said it's north of 6. You said no, $5 million. It'll be maybe less, 4.5.
Well, I said the reasonable number. I gave the reasonable number, not the
but maybe that was maybe that was going on in negotiations, because we know the way that this organization will lowball a player. So it's fair. I I'm just busting chops here.
No, it's fine. I
We
mean,
don't
I
have a
honestly,
beef. We don't have a beef. It's you and Aiden Hill's dad and Cassidy
I
and
honestly have a different take than people expected. I think it's a fair deal, honestly.
you
Maybe a
do.
tiny bit heavier, but I think I give credit number one to Aiden Hill and his agent for playing this remarkably well. All the goalie free agents, the upper level goalie free agents, have signed deals, signed varying deals, but they've all signed deals. So Kelly McCrimmon is looking up and down what's out there, and the questions that McCrimmon has to ask himself: Samsonov next year, what is his role? And
Nah,
should Samsonov have an elevated role? The answer is no. Should Samsonov even be back? Probably not.
no, it's going to be
Maybe for less.
Scram.
I think
Samsonov.
it's going to be future endeavors. Absolutely.
Samsonov.
I think now you have to look, and is Lindbaum ready to go in the American League? Is Akira Schmid ready to go in the American League? And the answer for Schmid is no. He's been terrible in the AHL. Lindbaum is interesting. He's over at, I think, at 919, 916 save percentage on a terrible HSK team with an even worse defense. So Lindbaum is someone to watch. Now you do wonder if he's going to develop behind Aiden for the next, few seasons, and that could be very interesting. But given free agency, given what's out there, given Aiden Hill's history, giving his positive health trajectory, I think it actually is a fair deal. And I don't think anyone expected me to say that. But when you look at the totality of the situation, the upcoming goalie free agents, even moneyballing this is a dangerous play. The salary cap's going up, so Aiden Hill's contract will hurt less and less for the next 3 or 4 seasons. And at least the Golden Knights don't have to worry about a position that's really been very fluid, really since this team's inception in season 1, when they had to go to Oscar Dansk and Maxim Lagasse to, as far as going that deep.
Jeez, you went back there in history. Yeah. So again, 6 years, 6.25 a year. I know that this came into play because of Pettyville here. Logan Thompson, 5.85 million. They had to one up LT. And I think
Aiden probably, I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights wanted to one up him. You think they would rather, you think the Golden Knights, you think Bill Foley would rather spend money to be petty than not save money? That's not how a billionaire thinks.
Okay.
I guarantee you it's not how a billionaire thinks. Nor is that how you become a billionaire with that type of mentality.
Yes, just saying that Pettyville, I think, they had to make sure that they paid him more. And I think when that contract came out, they were like, oh no, 5.85, we're going to have to spend more than that here. The first 2 years for Aiden Hill have a 10-team no trade clause, according to Puckpedia. By the 5th year, it's 5 teams, no trade. And the first year we found out, it was $1 million in salary, $7 million in signing bonus. So this is front loaded for Aiden Hill. So yeah, the other night he was like, yeah, I got to take the boys out to a nice dinner. I think you owe them a little bit more. Why don't you pay for a defenseman, bro?
I mean, listen, good for Aiden. He's been a career backup, even just as recently as a couple of years ago. Bounced around San Jose and Arizona, and Aiden Hill was the Samsonov of the Stanley Cup season. He was the Samsonov. He was the guy that they signed to back up Logan Thompson. Yes, he was the backup to Logan Thompson at the time. And obviously that plays out differently. And give full credit to Aiden Hill for the work he did during the Stanley Cup playoffs. I think he set the second highest save percentage ever since they started watching that or monitoring that stat in the Stanley Cup playoffs, only behind Tim Thomas, I believe, of the Boston Bruins. So full marks there. I've said this before. When Aiden Hill is on, he is one of the toughest goalies in the National Hockey League. When he's not on, it's a concern. I know you can say that about any goalie, but Aiden Hill's, I think there's 2 concerns that we're going to have as we watch the life of this contract play out. One is health, which this year he's checked that box, and he's had a positive trajectory over the last 3 seasons now. Good on Aiden for getting that worked out. So the next box that needs to be checked is consistency. If there's any level of concern right now, you can tell the Golden Knights are monitoring Aiden's starts, really want to keep him in that 50 to 55 range. I think Aiden wants to get to 55. Golden Knights might want a couple less. We'll see how that plays out. Will the Golden Knights be able to have a serviceable backup for 27 to 35 starts for the life of this contract? And that's going to be a big question as well. So if Aiden can check the health box, if he can be a little more consistent, it'll be a bargain. If Aiden's old ways, his old health habits come back, that where he just gets injured and inconsistency creeps in, then obviously it could be a different story. But listen, Aiden Hill and his agent won the situation. Good on them.
Is there a question there? Is there
No.
a question there? Hill currently 25-12, 40 games, career high.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
how many?
It's
how
all
many
positive.
times-
It's all
How
positive.
many times in the length of the contract can he surpass 45
Two
games?
and a hook. 2 and a hook based on recent health. 2 and a hook. That's
Okay.
that's the odds.
That's pretty interesting.
But will we play out the entire contract? That's
Correct.
the other line. I'll put that about a 4 and a hook.
Okay, correct. I'm with you on that. But real quick here, I know we're going way over.
Let's go.
Did you feel the goalie rotation was out of whack? I thought perhaps Aiden Hill might have
I think it should have gone
on Saturday. Hill Samsonov is the way that I had projected it, at least.
I feel it should have gone the other way, but we've also
You
seen
did
the
too.
Golden Knights put their number one goalie out there against a lesser opponent, trying to get the victory. And then if you can get an extra point in the second leg, so be it. But I mean, it's easy to say this
Why
now,
not?
but I think
Why
short
not?
turnaround, I think that plays in. I mean, you're talking it's not even a 48-hour rest; it's about a 41-hour rest. And the game was 7 hours earlier, or even a 39-hour rest. So I'm sure that's a conversation that happens with Aiden, and they talk about how
Aiden
he's
should have
feeling and
started
stuff too.
against
So
Buffalo Saturday. End of story. That's just,
I'm not against that. Easy to say it now, but I'm not against that either.
no. I was kind of surprised that Sam Sonoff was in net there.
And Sammy had a good game. Sammy was fine on Sunday against Detroit.
Yeah,
He was about the only one that was fine that game.
reversed rather. Aiden Hill should have gone on Sunday. We appreciate everyone tuning in because they were up against a team that was really going to be competitive and trying to get a playoff spot. They're in contention. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. Of course, don't forget Fridays are WTF. Saturdays, sometimes the Chris Golick Show. Happy St. Patrick's Day again to everyone tuning in. And we'll see you again tomorrow. My man, Chris Golick. And I'm Tony Cardasco. And please take care.